Hi, I'm Ben. I'm here with my friend Robert, and we're from the computer club at our school. Today we're going to be talking to you about how to build a practically brand new computer out of old computer parts for under $100 or for free if you have them. Now for this you're going to need more than one computer. You can't build it off of one computer because that would just be making the exact same computer. But if you mix all of them together, if you do it the right way, you can make a brand new computer. Now the first thing you're going to need is obviously going to be a motherboard. There's a bunch of different types of motherboards. There's ATX, Mini ATX, Micro ATX, and NXT, I think the other one was called. But the one that we're going to be using is called ATX, and we also might be using a Mini ATX. Power supply. Every computer has one, and every computer needs one. This is what actually turns on the computer, what you plug in. Now, there's a couple different types of power supplies. There's SATA and a regular power supply. The regular power supply has prongs, and the SATA has it's kind of like a connector with a bunch of mini prongs inside of it. Now, there's one with 20 pins inside of the actual cable, and there's one with 22 pins and one with 24 pins. The ones that we're going to be using are going to have 24 and 20. CPU, also known as a processor, is what makes the computer run. Now, this can't be overheated. This gets overheated easily, and that's why you need something called a heatsink. The heatsink goes on top of the processor, inside of the motherboard, and you hook onto it. It's kind of like this gel or paste, and that sticks it to that. Now when you put down the gel and the paste, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later, but you got to make sure it's flat, no bubbles are inside of it, otherwise it will not work correctly, and you could destroy your processor. Also, we're going to talk about the processor a little bit, but they're a little difficult to put in. Next thing, RAM. Random access memory. Otherwise, that's what it's also known as. They're little cards, probably about that big, and they go inside of your motherboard as well. Usually a computer can hold up to 4, 6 if you have a very nice computer. The ones that we're going to be using are going to be using 2 and 4. Next thing, a video card. Usually a motherboard has a video card built into it, but for the one that we're going to build has an actual extra video card that you hook in. This will give you the opportunity to have 2 monitors or more hooked up to it, depending on what kind of video card you get. The next thing, the hard drive. The hard drive goes inside of the computer as well. It gets hooked up to the motherboard, but it's not on the motherboard. The hard drive is a little case. It's a little square that inside of there is a disk. So that disk, that holds all the memory inside the computer. These are really hard to handle because if you drop it or you shake it and it scratches, you're done. You got to get a new hard drive. The next thing is going to be the case, so otherwise known as the tower. This is what you, the user of the computer, actually see. It's the actual case of the computer, which that's the only part that you might need to buy, unless you want to use one from a different computer company. The one that we're going to be buying is just a regular ATX case. The next thing, port cards. This is what holds the Ethernet, all the cords, the USBs, the sound cards, everything like that is inside of this. Now usually, also that's on a motherboard as well, along with the video card. And once again, this is going to be how to build a new computer out of old computer parts. So those are all the parts you're going to need. Remember, they have to be from different computers. But here's the trick. Before you get started on this, make sure you wipe each and every single different item inside the computer. So your RAM, make sure you wipe all the memory cards. Your hard drive, you got to wipe that completely clean. Your processor, wipe that clean. Everything needs to go. No files, no nothing. So make sure you back up your computer before you do any of this. Just make sure you don't lose any files. Back up your computer, you're going to need an external hard drive. Those can be found at any computer store. They can actually be found at other stores such as Myers, Walmart. Any known store should have these. Those are a little expensive, but they have a lot of memory in them. It's like a big flash drive. So next time that we post, we're also going to catch up on our other video of how to stop a computer from being crashed. That's going to be our next video, but then either the one before that or the one after that. We're going to get started on this. Now, the thing that you're going to need to get started, and I suggest buying this before we post our next video, is going to be a power supply, of course, the motherboard, and the tower. Now, the ones that we're going to start off with are going to